Hello, everyone. Good evening. Sean Lowry here. So I've had some issues with Google Hangouts tonight. I'm going to attempt to get this going. So bear with me if you will, please. Okay, so this is for Lesson 12, Chapter 11, Exercise 4. I've gone through this here just to make sure I got it right. The first thing to realize is that all of the information you're going to need is given up here at the top of the screen. I hope that this is showing this. It talks about the stockholders' equity, the paid-in capital, the preferred stock, how many were authorized, how many were issued, common stock, how many were authorized, issued, the money that was generated, total paid-in capital, and then your retained earnings, total paid-in capital and retained earnings, and then your treasury stock for a total stockholder equity here. So then it gives you the instructions from a review of the stockholders' equity section. Answer the following questions. Share how many shares of common stock are outstanding. So for part A of this, you need to find out that remember that the outstanding menu, how many shares of common stock are outstanding. They're asking how many shares are still out there from the common stock. So you issued 589,000 shares had been issued, but down here in the treasury stock, you had 69,000 returned back to you that you bought back. So if you subtract those two, you end up with 582,100 shares. Then it asks in B, if you have an assumed that there is a stated value, what is the stated value of the common stock? So in order to do that, you need to go back to the amount raised that was paid in capital for your common stock. That's 101,767,000. And then you divide that by the total number of shares issued, which was 589,000. And that should tell you that you had a stated value of the common stock of $3. I guess I should go back to A and walk us all through that again instead of just telling you. Make sure that I show, don't just tell. Common stock outstanding, we had an issue of 589,000 shares, and then we subtract those that came back from common stock into the treasury, which left us with 582,100. Part C asks what the par value of the preferred stock is. The par value of the preferred stock. Okay, I hope that's working. So we're going to go ahead and double check that again. All right, like I said, I'm not trying to freak anybody out. They've changed Google Hangouts since the last time I used it. So what is the par value of the preferred stock? Well, in order to find that, you do the exact same thing, except for you take 655,200, 655,200, and you divide that by the number that were issued, which was 6,300. That gives you a total of 104. Then they want to know what the annual dividend on preferred stock is. 52,416. If that's your total dividend, what is the dividend rate on the preferred stock? Now, there may be another way to do this in the book that I missed, but for me, this is an algebra problem. So they're giving me that this is what the dividend is, and then that is going to equal the, the number of shares times the percentage rate times the price. So the price was 104, which we just found. The dividend was 52,416. And then we also know that the number of shares was 6,300. So if you take 52,416 and put that on the left side of the equal of your equal sign, and then you have 63,000 shares, you're looking for your variable of X percent times $104. So you end up dividing the 52,416, divide that by the 6,300 shares, and that gives you 8.32. So if you take 52416 and divide that by 6,300, it gives you 8.32. You divide that by the price of 104, and that leaves you 0.08%. You multiply that by 100, and it tells you that the dividend rate is 8%. The last question asks that if the dividends of 74,500 were in arrears on a preferred stock, what would the balance report for the retained earnings be? So this is kind of a trick question. You have to remember, and I forgot, so they got me. They suckered me in on my first attempt, was that your retained earnings of 1,182,000, there is no call for this this dividends that are in arrears until they actually declare that they're going to pay it. So it stays the same. Don't do what I did and go ahead and try to subtract that 74,500 out, because it hasn't been declared. There's no information here that tells us that. So just pay attention to what they tell you, the information that's been given. And if you do that, you should be just fine. I'm going to see if I can stop sharing that portion of the screen. And it's not letting me do that. Let me see here. Stop sharing my screen. Come back to this. That's the presentation I have. I hope this worked out. I'm sorry for the psychedelic tunnel of vision. Have a great night. And if you have any questions, let me know.